Something colossal is rising from the Texas plains, a $50 billion microchip factory. On paper, it is a marvel, designed to rival TSMC's Megafab in Arizona and to stand as America's front line in the global chip race. But before production even begins, the project is already slipping behind. A decade ago, Samsung looked unstoppable. It dominated memory, produced logic chips for Apple and Nvidia, and stood shoulder to shoulder with TSMC. Then everything changed. Apple became a direct rival and moved its chip business to TSMC. Process delays followed, yields collapsed, and major customers walked away. By the early 2020s, Samsung's foundry division needed a comeback, and it chose to make that comeback in Texas. In 2021, the company broke ground in the town of Taylor, northeast of Austin, promising the most advanced semiconductor plant ever built on US soil. The original plan was straightforward, a $17 billion fab producing 4-nanometer chips by 2024. But as global demand for AI exploded, Samsung made a fateful decision to pivot the plant to 2 nanometers. That single change transformed a controlled build into chaos. New tools, new chemistry, and new learning curves turned a $17 billion project into a $50 billion one. Even the ground fought back. Beneath Taylor lies caliche, hard, dry, and uneven, stable enough for highways, not for a nanometer scale fab. So Samsung built one of the most elaborate foundations ever attempted. 20,000 shafts drilled into bedrock, 500,000 cubic yards of concrete, and a floating platform designed to cancel every vibration from trucks, cooling systems, or the nearby rail line. At 2 nanometers, even a tremor a few atoms wide can ruin a wafer. All that concrete exists to create absolute stillness, because chip making is atomic choreography. Then came the power problem. A modern fab draws as much electricity as a city, yet Taylor sits on the notoriously fragile Texas grid. One winter storm can black out millions. A millisecond-long voltage dip can destroy millions of dollars of wafers. To survive, Samsung built its own microgrid, dual high-voltage feeds, redundant backups, and a local emergency system designed to keep the fab alive even if the state grid fails. Water followed power. Chip fabrication consumes roughly 15 million gallons a day, 5 times more than the town itself. Samsung constructed the Blue Sky Reclamation Facility to draw from the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer and recycle nearly 90% of what it uses. But when the process node shifted to 2 nanometers, the purity standards tightened. Every pipe and filter had to be recalibrated. Weeks became months of delay. Then came the air. Unlike the dust-dry air of Arizona, Texas air is humid and heavy with hydrocarbons. Moisture triggers static discharge, and ozone corrodes chemicals. Samsung responded with enormous filtration towers and precision climate control. Inside, temperature, humidity, and pressure are maintained within fractions of a degree. The cleanroom, larger than 10 football fields, is a silent bubble of perfectly balanced air. Still, air and water are not enough. Chip making also runs on chemistry, high-purity gases and acids. Nitrogen, hydrogen, and neon feed the reactions that sculpt silicon. Sulfuric acid cleans each wafer between steps. Until local supply chains exist, Samsung ships that acid from Korea and wafers from Japan, adding cost and complexity to every batch. Yet the hardest challenge is not the concrete, the power, or the chemistry. It is people. Hundreds of engineers were flown in from Korea while local teams trained on site, but no one had ever built a 2-nanometer fab before. TSMC, by contrast, perfected the process at home in Taiwan, then replicated it in Arizona with veteran teams. Samsung had to learn in real time, a new node, a new country, a new workforce. That lack of experience slowed everything. TSMC's advantage is cultural as much as technical. It focuses solely on foundry work, building chips for others. Every engineer and supplier shares a single goal: yield. At yields above 90%, TSMC practically prints money. Samsung juggles smartphones, displays, and memory while trying to run a contract foundry. The result is divided focus and fewer anchor customers. Want to know how we trade this major technology trend? At Truthsayer AI, we trade every single one of the alerts our AI generates. If you are interested, You can join the thousands of clients already on our app who are taking advantage of these trades every day. Remember, we trade every one of our alerts our machine learning and AI models generate. Sign up on our website. You won't regret it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.